Hi, my name is Jasmine Smith-Williams, and I'll be giving you a short summary over the article, Why Do Eye Muscles Function in ALS as Other Muscles Waste Away? This article is written by Amy Yee. But before we start, I want to show you a short video clip, so enjoy. So do you remember the summer viral trend that helped increase the awareness of the ALS disease, known as the Ice Bucket Challenge? The Ice Bucket Challenge was a trend where people challenged others to pour buckets of ice-cold water on themselves, along with making a monetary donation to the ALS Association. And in return, the ALS Association received $115 million. And recently, 21.7 of that was just approved for research. So, within this presentation, I will be going over a few definitions, explaining what ALS is, and explaining why certain muscles are not affected by the ALS disease. So, starting off with definitions. What are nerve cells? Nerve cells are cells within the brain and spinal cord / the central nervous system that travel through an electrochemical process. What are motor neurons? Motor neurons are nerve cells. They simply carry messages away from the brain to the muscles and or glands within the body. And what is glutamate? Glutamate is an important neurotransmitter that focuses on motor neurons to trigger the muscles or the glands within the body. Next, I will be showing you a short video clip that will explain the process of the ALS disease.
All voluntary movement in the body is controlled by the brain. Nerve cells in the brain, called upper motor neurons, initiate movement with the release of chemical signals called neurotransmitters. The signal is passed from the upper motor neurons to the lower motor neurons of the spine. Nerve fibers extending from the spine, called axons, extend into the muscles. The point where the axons and muscle fibers connect is called the neuromuscular junction. When the signal reaches the neuromuscular junction, it causes the muscle to contract, resulting in voluntary muscle movement. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, often called Lou Gehrig's disease, is a degenerative disease of both the upper and lower motor neurons. As more and more motor neurons become affected, they are unable to send signals for movement to the muscles. Loss of voluntary muscle movement and coordination develop. Over time, muscle weakness and spasms develop.
So what is ALS? ALS is a disease that destroys nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord that triggers muscle movement. And so what exactly does ALS stand for? ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. The A means no or negative, the myo means muscle, and the trophic means nourishment. So there is no nourishment within the muscle. The lateral refers to a person's spinal cord, and sclerosis refers to scarring or hardening. So overall, there is no muscle nourishment within a person's spinal cord, which can lead to scarring or hardening of the muscles. So some of the symptoms that ALS can consist of are muscle weakness in the arms, legs, and hands, cramping of the muscles, the inability to speak, and the inability to breathe, which could ultimately lead to death for some people. But it is important to note that these symptoms vary from person to person. And within the article, Amy Yee states that many patients can still move their eyes and sometimes control the sphincter along with a few other muscles. And the purpose of this article is to tell us why this is happening. So why are certain muscles not affected by ALS? The fact that some muscles are not affected by the ALS just shows that some muscles are more vulnerable to the ALS disease than others. It is also important to note that those that are vulnerable to the ALS disease connect to specialized sensory neurons, and they receive continuous excitation of glutamate. And remember that glutamate is an important neurotransmitter that focuses on the motor neurons to release and trigger muscle movement in the glands or the muscles. So in other words, the eye and sphincter motor neurons do not receive connections from the specialized motor neurons. They connect to other motor neurons. And so the conclusion is the overall production of glutamate plays a very important factor in the ALS disease. And because the eye and sphincter motor neuron does not connect with the special sensorized neurons, this inhibits the ALS from affecting like the muscles in the eye. And so why would all this information be important? Well, within the next 7 to 10 years, we can expect to see the production of medicine that will help slow down the progression of the ALS disease. And thanks for listening. My name is Jasmine Smith-Williams.